Let me just say this, and I've said it a million times. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast before, but I will say it again.
Okay.
Bachelorette, so where all the guys are together, and
Mm-hmm.
the girl is picking a guy, is way more dramatic than The Bachelor. And if I hear somebody else say that women are more dramatic than men, I will point them to The Bachelorette, because when you get all those guys together, the drama starts instantly.
I agree. I would say all humans are equally dramatic.
Okay.
But I will say the guys' drama is definitely, it just makes such less sense.
Yeah.
That it's more it's I don't even know what to say, but it's a different flavor of drama.
It's almost like deeper.
Yeah, well, I think half of the drama that comes down when it comes down to these guys is pride, ego.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I think that's so ingrained in a lot of stuff that if you just let it go wild, you're saying the stupidest stuff.
And I also think the men are more programmed for it to be a competition, and so they are competing for Jenn.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about Jenn.
Yeah, let's get it out. We've got 2 episodes that we're referring to. We didn't get we're talking about The Bachelorette, but with the reason we didn't have an episode last week for you guys, we're overcoming Burl. We had the Burl for the premiere last week.
Oh my gosh.
We're in the Houston, Texas area.
We couldn't even watch the opening episode, episode 1. We couldn't even watch it at the premiere because we had no internet.
Well, no, we didn't have power.
Oh yeah, we didn't have power or internet.
Well, yeah, mostly we didn't have power.
Yeah, you're right.
And then later we didn't have the internet to watch the stream because we recorded on our cable DVR. So that kind of threw off claim to fame. I'm behind multiple episodes of House of Dragons, if anyone cares. And so, yeah, it's thankfully most people, my understanding, I would say 99% of people who lost power have gotten their power back. Believe it or not, there's still people that don't have their power.
That's
so hopefully Jenn this season does a better job as Centerpoint and figuring things out. So that's why we've got 2 episodes worth of content. So instead of going episode by episode, let's just try to cover everybody. And I think we should cover, like you said, Jenn. What's your thoughts? Give me. So
here's the deal. I liked Jenn on The Bachelor.
Okay.
I thought she was pretty. I thought she was fun.
Okay.
She's the first Asian Bachelorette, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah.
They in the intro they had a little clip of her meeting some fans.
Yeah.
And they were like, "We love that you are representing us as the first Asian Bachelor," and I thought that was really sweet. So yeah, now, okay, I'm curious to hear your thoughts because you have a hot take about Jenn that I think I agree with. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh well, it's not stealing thunder. We've discussed it. I think it's pretty apparent that I don't even know if it's a hot take. It's just that Jenn is not coming into this looking for her. And not to say they won't become her husband, but she's not. We've had so many that's like, oh, I'm just ready to settle down.
Well, that's like the thing. Like, right. Everybody says that's like the thing that the girls always say. Or the guys, too. I'm looking for my husband. I'm looking for my wife.
No.
And you pointed out that Jenn has yet to say that, which is true. She's always just like, I'm here. What does she always say?
She says
ferocious love.
Ferocious
Oh
love.
gosh, it makes me cringe. But that's her thing, a ferocious love.
Yeah, ferocious love TM. I'm sure she's got merch already up somewhere. She strikes me, and I have to, and I want to preface this, and then I'll let you get back to your overall take on her as just a fun-loving girl, who's looking for maybe something serious. But isn't looking to make, man. Well, here's some of the things I've said. She hasn't said I'm looking for a husband. She said she's looking for her ferocious love. Almost, I would say 80% of Bachelorette leads, they after night 1, they're like, I think my spouse, my wife or husband is in this room. My wife is in this room. She has not to say that. Maybe she will say that. We saw previews of her kind of maybe telling someone who might be her final one or her second choice, I can't let you propose.
Yeah, we think that's like a producer trick.
Misdirection, yeah.
Where she's like, I can't let you propose. I just want to leave here like together as a
Right.
couple, but not engaged.
Right.
And there's a part 2 where she's having like a sit down with Jesse.
Right.
And he's like, okay, like we can go about this however you want.
Right.
And they kind of showed clips of her too, just like when they literally showed a clip of Sam M telling her he loved her. And she was like, how do you even know that? You don't even know me.
Right.
Where I feel like most of the leads would be like over the moon if someone told them that. Which honestly, I love that for her, that she's like actually,
No, definitely. She is I agree. Yeah, she seems, and these I have to I again I'm saying there's nothing wrong with this. It's just it's a change of pace, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
She is like ready to have fun. She loves to flirt. She is told Devin, who we'll get into, that she doesn't mind that he seems like a guy who's loud and talkative and likes to get attention and cause drama. She thinks it's fun. It hasn't crossed the line, even though we'll get into it a little bit. But that's stuff that she said to him, and she says she wants someone who laughs with her and puts her first. These are all great qualities. I just personally think my vibe from Jenn so far is that we are getting and I don't mean this in a bad way. I have to say this. We're getting to have a good time, Bachelorette. Like,
yeah,
it can be fun to date this many people. And she said over and over before every date, like, "Ooh, where are my hot guys?" You know what I mean?
Well, and her thing is like it's shot o'clock, so like she likes to have fun and party.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily mean she's not ready to be serious, but the way that she's going about it does seem like she's not looking for her husband like what we've typically seen.
Right. And so this is going to lead to predictions. We'll get into it later, but I was wondering if maybe from her we were going to get the like I had a lot of fun, but now I'm ready to make a more serious choice. And so there's some guys, maybe the Spencers, the Marcus, that seem like they could be that choice. But I almost wonder if we should prepare ourselves for that not to happen this season, because so many seasons they end up making what would be the sensible choice. That's how Hannah Brown ended up with Jed and not Tyler Cameron.
Okay.
That's sensible, or Pilot
I don't know why Jed was the sensible choice.
Well, to her, that's what she was thinking. She didn't know all the stuff we know.
Yeah.
At the time, and so I could see Jenn being like, I just wanted a guy who we're gonna have a fun with, because that's the basis for me of being of good relationships. You know what I mean? And I can have fun and settle down with someone I have fun with. So guys who might be villains, and we'll get to them later. You know what I'm saying? That would be like, oh, they're gone. The more I'm thinking about it, it's like we could have a contender here where we haven't in other seasons.
We've seen some villains go to the end, like Rachel and Brian. R.I.P. to that marriage.
But that's what I'm saying. Those people that make it and were villains were very serious, almost too serious.
True.
And so you've got these guys that are like, oh, I'm going to just stay out of the drama and be here, right?
No, Brian was dramatic.
Brian and Rachel?
Brian was. I'm sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Remember, none of the guys liked Brian.
Right, but he wasn't. They just didn't like him because he was number one. That just happens with guys. You're right.
He wasn't like fighting.
No, I'm talking about. It would be like if Waboom was a contender. You see what I'm saying?
Not Waboom.
That's the point I'm making. Is like guys that are like zany and weird that will be like, oh, they're just producer picks. Might not be producer picks.
Oh my gosh.
But okay, I've gone on long enough. Is that how? Do you agree with
me? No,
I
agree. I'm with you on that.
And so we started off, and not to go beat by beat here, but anyways, they started off in a new location.
Yeah, there's a new mansion. Well,
is it a new mansion or was it just the first stop on this way?
You're right, because they instantly went to Australia.
Yeah, I don't know if they're
Which
doing.
we've never seen before.
Yeah, they might not be doing the mansion
But what
thing.
happened? Why?
Maybe the owner of the house just jacked up the
were over
rates,
it?
and they were just like, "Oh, whatever. It's not that big a deal."
Wow. Okay. It looks like the same house to me. I mean, not really, but like a mansion is a mansion.
Yeah, you just need the little drive up. You don't
Yeah.
even notice. And then let's go over just some of the quick facts about Jen before we move on to the guys. She's from Boston, so we're getting our Northeast flavor again. We're not doing the Southerner girl again, which is a trope that they do sometimes. She of course is Asian. She's athletic. They showed her in her B-roll doing a lot of lacrosse, tennis, and sports like that. She is a physician assistant student. So she's going in the medical field. They talked about her rocky relationship with her parents, but then she's confident.
Her mom was there in the intro, so it seems like she's supportive.
Yeah, and it seems like her and her mother speak Vietnamese together, so she has a strong heritage to her culture, and yeah, I think we've covered our lead pretty sufficiently. I don't want to. I don't want. We're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see if I end up liking Jen. I don't think I don't dislike her. You know what I'm saying? Because you do want the lead to make good, smart decisions. Sure. So I just want to make sure. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's get it to what do you want to move on to?
I mean, we can just go over some things that happened first night.
Okay.
Sam M got the first impression rose,
and a lot more.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, they were kissing. They were making out. Really, they they have a physical connection.
Yeah.
Like that's just I think maybe all they have.
Well, I'm hoping it. Well, if that's who she picks, I'm hoping it's more than that. But they haven't really gotten past the physical connection because it's so strong, apparently.
Yeah. So he's also giving me Tyler Cameron vibes because they're both from they're both Southern, and they're both contractors. And he kind of looks like him with the like blonde hair, white guy thing.
Interesting. Yeah, he was previously engaged and his ex cheated on him.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's what they got going on. In the first couple episodes, his main theme, I guess you could say, is just the sexual tension that he has with Jen. And so there's really nothing more than that to go off of, although he does seem to be one that is willing to get into the weeds, I guess you would say, with the other guys when it comes to drama, because he likes to speak up about it. Right. His name's Aaron. No, I'm thinking about the other guy, but he's definitely one. He's part of that posse that's like, hey man, I just don't think you're here for the right reasons.
Which, speaking of, so then we have Devin, who is from Houston, H-Town. Devin, if you want to come on our pod, hit us up. He is, what did someone call him? Well, he looks like Pete Davidson. I said it, Jen said it, and then they did this, like, roast on a group date. And someone said something about, like, he was, what did they say? Something about Pete Davidson. It was funny.
Yeah, I have the joke written down here, someone, but, yeah, I don't see the look like Pete Davidson thing, but that's just me, I guess. I have a tendency to just root for the person who's from Houston as much as I can until they show me that they're not beautiful. Exactly. And I gotta say it. Devin has shown me nothing to make me not root for him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Jerry used to have this thing. I haven't seen it so much lately. Are you looking at me like that? Okay, where he was like always going for the villain. Wow. You've kind of changed your tune on that, but now Devin is our first villain. He's getting our first villain edit.
I don't know, man.
And Jared is like right back into this going for the villain arc.
I don't even know if he's a villain. I almost wonder if he is a victim in this sense.
Oh my gosh.
Because no, he's definitely an antagonizer in the sense that he doesn't care
Yeah.
to upset people and
Well,
step on toes.
And because he encourages it. Like, he lets it go on. He could choose to disengage.
Well, I don't know if he encourages it. I think at some, this is why I like the Bachelorette, because a lot of the competition is just posturing. You know, he's not. What is he doesn't have to lie down if he really likes the girl. You know what I'm saying? He has to compete and show her she's interested, especially when he addresses it. She gives him nothing but positive feedback.
Okay,
So,
Jarrett. So can we get into the him being interrupted on the date with Jen, or should we wait for that?
no, let's talk about it. We're freeform here. We got 2 episodes.
So in the second episode, cocktail party. Is it cocktail party or group date?
Sure.
Cocktail party. Devin and Jen are talking, and Thomas. Is it Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas all of a sudden has beef with Devin because because on the other group date party, the guys got sent home early.
Right.
And so they were like, all right, guys, the guys who got sent home early, let's like be respectful and let them have time first.
Yeah.
And Devin was like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, whatever, no problem. And then as soon as the cocktail party, Devin stole Jen away. And Thomas got irate that he would do that.
Yeah.
So what Thomason decided to do was go interrupt their date to not pull Jen, but pull Devin and have a chat with him about him pulling her first. So then Jen does what I would have done, any smart woman would have done, and goes to the door and listens to this little conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just ridiculous. But let me ask you this. If you were in that position, you were Devin, and we were having a chat, and some guy comes in and pulls you, would you go talk to him?
I would be like, I would have said, Jake, you want to speak to me, not her? You know what I mean? I'll talk to you in a second, but I want to spend my time speaking to her. If you're coming to interrupt me to talk to her, I mean, I would say no to that too, but I guess sure, you get your time. But if you want to talk to me, bro, I'll talk to you at the hotel. We could talk whenever.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Right, so
Devin didn't do that. Devin chose to engage in a conversation with him.
He didn't. He said, excuse me, to Jennifer, because, because he was like, something was up. I don't know if he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know that guy was coming over. He just, I need to talk to you right now. So for who knows what he's going to say. So this is my point. Devin, in fact, told him, and everyone who was honest and not upset about it probably heard him. And that's why so many guys were like, hey, you're true to what you said you're going to do. He said, I agree. You guys should get your time. I'm not going to go to the back of the line.
Yeah.
And that implies if I like to be first. So that's what I'm going to do. He said, but, I might not get seconds. He didn't say that, but you know what I mean? But he's like, yeah, but y'all deserve y'all time.
Yeah.
So if a guy says, hey, okay, yeah, you can talk to her, but if you're going to stand around, I'm going to go pull her first. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm going to let you talk to her. Then I'm going to try to pull her first if that matters to me. You know what I'm saying? But that's an ego thing. So that's all I'm saying. Devin isn't, I appreciate people who tell you what they are and are what they say they are. He's not deceitful.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Well, so then Thomas goes and talks to Jen, and she's like, what was that about? And you can tell she was totally unimpressed.
Yeah.
And she's like, any of you could have pulled me first. Like, I've liked that he pulled me first.
Right, and then you went and talked to him, and she was, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So why, I don't understand how Devin is an antagonizer, but I wouldn't say he's a villain. Same thing with Olivia. Like, that's why I liken it to.
Yeah, you rode for Olivia.
And just other people who follow who this happens to.
Olivia on Ben Higgins season?
Yeah, and then
she
a little
was
bit of
reporter.
Yeah, a little bit of Marina, and she was also from Texas. A little bit of Marina, was that her name from last season? With Joey, Mariana.
Oh,
Maria as well. And that what people didn't like about her is that she was herself.
Yeah, true.
And that she didn't seem to aggressively get in. she wasn't putting other people down. It's just that her
True.
outside personality
True.
impeded on other people.
Yeah. So let's get into Thomas N, because Thomas, so he's Vietnamese, and he was a really good swimmer. He almost went to the Olympics, right?
Mhm.
And then he, oh yeah, so him and Jenn kind of connected because they're both Vietnamese.
Mhm.
But I did think he was a little boring for her.
Oh no, I don't think so. I think he was just. I think those relationships. I don't think he would be too boring. I just think it's such a waste to do some of those things because, especially with a lead like Jen, because okay, I think clearly they see they have a Vietnamese connection, but to make that the basis is that we're both the same race and come from the same cultural background could make you close, but you're still behind everyone else on personal connection.
True, yeah.
So I actually do think if he like continued to show his personality, the more I saw of his personality, I was like, oh, if he wasn't, whining and complaining, you know what I mean? It looks like he's a guy who's animated or something like that. But what like if you're a lead and you're like, oh yeah, we both know what a struggle and the pros and the cons and the ups and the downs of our shared cultural history. It's just like taking a history lesson together. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
And if that's what you're looking for in a relationship, okay, you know that. But I don't think you have to spend an entire first interaction going over that, because you're gonna have tons of time to do that. So much of this is about we got a week or a month and a half to see if we connect in a way that could last forever. And that's never based on we are both Vietnamese or we are both Irish, you know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, you kind of stalled yourself, and you should have maybe like made that a second date thing, because he would know you were speaking.
Yeah, that's fair. I do feel like he switched up quick. Like he was chill, he seemed chill and cool, and then he just like flipped a switch and
he was
ready
cussing
to pounce
out Devin.
on Devin.
Yeah, that's another thing about Devin. And not to make this the Devin pod, but Devin is a kind of guy that people were coming at him, and this only upsets people more, which is why it's such a good way to handle things. He wouldn't back down. He was definitely, because he wasn't going to shy away. I respect that he stood up for himself. But also, people were insulting him and cursing him out and passive aggressively giving him mental health books.
Oh
and
my gosh.
calling him names.
Okay,
that's my point is that he didn't go like, "What, bro?"
True.
He would just laugh it off.
True.
Like, okay, that's very funny. I'll check this out.
Yeah.
Probably not though. Everyone roasted him, and he just laughed. He was just like, "Oh, those are some good roasts or whatever."
Right.
But they're scared of him. You know what I mean? And people, when you're that kind of self-assured and you don't have to lash out, I think that really bothers people because he's so assured of himself. And if they're either not or they're not assured of him, they think it's a game or a front.
Right.
But I don't think it's a game with him. I just think that's how he is. The one thing I have yet to see with Devin, it's probably my last word on this episode about him, is does he actually like Jen?
Yeah,
I think he likes Jen. But is it, it also, is it just is it going to cross over into I just want to win? You know what I mean? And so that's why I'm withholding the villain title, because if he actually likes her and is pursuing her, then I like, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But if it turns into I'll do whatever I need to win, and then I'll leave or whatever, then he's a villain. That's why I'm withholding.
Yeah, judgment. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so that was another thing that involved Devin, though, was Aaron, who got upset with Devin initially because on the group date, Devin pulled Jenn aside to go get ice cream. Yeah. And Aaron was super pressed that she would do that. So a little background on Aaron. Aaron is Noah.
Boring.
Herb?
No, I don't know, but it's boring, whatever it is.
It's his twin, which I thought at first was pretty cool. What, you thought that was boring from the jump?
Well, that guy just was kind of a boring guy, and then his relationship with I forget her name, but
yeah,
they have such a strong connection. I'm happy for him, but it's also very boring. There was no it was just like they hooked up. I mean, they got connected right away on the beach, so his storyline has just kind of overall been a little boring, and then his brother come in and seems to be the boring version of him, and also passive aggressive.
I thought he was gonna. I kind of thought he had potential.
No, from the
he's
jump,
like pretty good looking. He's tall. You know, tall men always
he's
go further.
divorced.
But then he was divorced, and he was just like getting so irritated by Devin, and it was kind of just like, bro, this is showing your insecurity by how annoyed you are at Devin. Being like, that's not fair that you pulled her aside on a group date. Like, it was probably like 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, he's boring. He's a wet blanket. He's a crybaby. And I mean this in a most respectful way. But it's just the kind of guy that's just like, bro, like, and actually those are the kind of guys that in a certain context are the kind of guys a girl might want, but it's definitely not a girl like Jenn wants.
Yeah.
Some people want the quiet, reserved, respectful, like overly chivalristic. That's not a word, but you get what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Guy, which is kind of him. Like, fight for her honor. Lift her up as my queen. I'm her sole protector. Yeah, okay. That does not seem to be Jenn. She likes that Devin stole her away. And more than Devin, she said she likes when guys are talkative and outgoing. And so many of the guys on date 1 or date 2 are like, including Aaron, like, yeah, I'm kind of out of my element, There's such these big personalities. And I'm kind of like a shrinking violet. I'm not really, one to stand out. And she said that's not what she's looking for.
Yeah, true.
Now she's very nice about it, and she said, no, I want you to be yourself, and I enjoy talking to you. And I'm like, you can be that kind of guy in a group of guys because you're not trying to date 25 other guys. I'm talking about the guys. But when you're with her, show her your personality. Don't talk about other dudes, and talk about how intimidated you are by the other dudes. Now maybe on date 4, when you've got a little more vulnerability that you can let loose. But again, let's get some personality and not just be the here for the right reasons police.
Sure. Well, so let's talk about the first one-on-one.
Well, here's the deal.
What?
We are going to have to make it quick.
Why?
We're on the clock.
For how long?
We got about 2 minutes.
Okay, well, so Marcus goes on the first one-on-one. Mm-hmm. He's pretty boring.
Yeah.
They skydive, though, so of course they get this false sense of, they trauma bond, right?
Right.
And then they kiss, but I think he's too boring for her.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have the 2 group dates.
It was a good kiss after the adrenaline.
Yeah, it was. It was very adrenaline-filled, though.
And I think he's a strong contender, like I said, with Spencer. If she goes I had a lot of fun, now it's time to start thinking about house, kids, settling down.
I agree.
But I don't think she's there yet. So I could see him being like a hometown.
Kind of like towards, what you were saying, like he gets to the end, but then he's like the safe choice and someone else is like the party fun choice. Yes. And she goes with the fun choice.
Yes.
Yeah. And
or like the sexual chemistry choice.
And same with Spencer.
Yeah.
Like Spencer would be the family guy.
Right. Yeah. Okay, group dates.
So Grant gets the rose on the group date. I just don't buy anything Grant says. He just sounds fake. It sounds
definitely.
too rehearsed.
Super fake.
It sounds like he's just playing a part.
Super fake.
And so I'm surprised he got the rose, but maybe it's just because it's early, and so she's just like, it sounds good, okay.
Yeah.
And then on the other group date, Dylan got one-on-one time. Oh, we didn't talk about Dylan from Cut.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we can extend the clock a little bit. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue this segment on the Bachelorette. Like I said, we've got a lot to cover, and I'm watching the clock with this. But if you'd like to hear the rest of this discussion and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and check out our pod for the People's Rose. The links are down below. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, just continue to listen. If this little
and if you watch Cut videos, then you definitely want to
right. We're about to talk about Cut. We might even link the episode down in the YouTube description. So if you're on the podcast, you need to go watch the YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, you need to go listen to the podcast. Hear us talk about Cut. So let's keep it going.